happen. I noticed some pretty significant differences. Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, I'm Kristina from Leafy Luster, and today we are going to sow some seeds. To be specific, these are Anthurium Forgetii seeds. I got them from an Instagram friend. You can find him right here. These are kind of mystery seeds because they are either Forgetii magnificum hybrids, or they are just regular Forgetii because he pollinated with some old magnificum pollen first, and then to be sure he also used some Forgetii pollen as well. We will have to see what comes out of those seeds and which plants we will have in the end. Either way, it's very exciting and I can't wait to sow them. The idea of planting seeds and then seeing your plant grow up into adulthood is super cool to me. I'm very excited to see that happen, hopefully. Let's cross our fingers here. Since it's my first time sowing any kind of houseplant seeds, I will have to do some research first. See if I can find a few papers or articles or videos on germinating seeds or Anthurium seeds in specific. I hope I can find a few numbers and facts. So let's go. First, let's check where Anthurium Forgetii is actually native to. My guess would be something tropical. I have heard that Hawaii has a lot of Anthurium, so maybe there or like this region. I found this website right here, Q Science. It seems that Anthurium Forgetii is native to Colombia actually, and a lot of other Anthuriums are too. Colombia is to be believed to have the highest Anthurium diversity on Earth. It's kind of cool. I also found a paper on seed germination, and it actually talks about climate change and how rising temperatures could affect the germination of Anthurium seeds. They also mention how they treat and sow their seeds. I think I will do it somewhat like that. They free them from the berry, put them, depending on what I have here, either into 70% ethanol or into some sodium hypochlorite. So I have that too because, you know, I work in a lab. Then I will go on and sow them in my medium. I think the best temperature that they found for fast germination but also survivability of your plants afterwards is around 23.5 degrees. But I will just put them in my grow shelf. I guess this will be the best spot that I can offer. Now that we know that Anthurium Forgetii is native to tropical rainforests, so we know that high humidity and warmth is key. With all of this information now, I think it's time to sow the seeds. Now then, I want to sterilize my seeds a little bit, especially because they were out in the cold in shipping and I'm a little bit afraid that they might get moldy. I just want to give them a little bit of a fresh start. What I have at hand is sodium hypochlorite. I will use a 3% solution, so I believe that is not too strong to kill the seeds. And you're probably better off using some gloves for this, but I don't have any. Okay, so I just mixed half water, half of my solution. And I'll have to say the shipping was excellent. It came nice and moist on a little bit of moss in this tissue. And I will just pop them all in. I will have a close eye on them, keep them in there for 10 to 15 minutes. Afterwards, clean them with some fresh water. One of the seeds already has a dark tip, so this is already pretty sus. This one might already be in a process of molding or something. Let's see. I hope this helps. You could probably also use a 3% hydrogen peroxide solution, but don't quote me on that, okay? Since we have a few minutes to kill, let's prepare our medium. Since I got 10 of those seeds, I have a little bit of room to play around. Today I want to try a little bit of Sphagnum moss, which is probably the classic route to go. I also want to try some soil, and then I also want to try a little bit of perlite. As long as you keep them moist all of the time, I guess that all of these will work, but we will see. Our seeds are ready to go, so I will wash them 3 times with clear water now, nice and clean. I will start by just lightly laying them into the moss. I will use a little trick I learned at work, so you can take a little pipette like this and just suck the seeds onto the tip and then transfer them. It will look something like this, and now I'm going to put them onto the moss, like so. And I'm going to do 3 for each thing, and then in the moss I'm going to put 1 extra. 4 little seeds in here, and I will close the lid. This will ensure high humidity, and I'll put it in my grow shelf next. I'm going to proceed for the soil exactly the same. I will just lay them on top. Here, here, and here. And lastly, I will put 3 into the perlite. Press them in a little bit, just so that they really like touch it and get the moisture from it. Make sure that there's a little bit of water at the bottom of the perlite at all times. Make sure that the moss is moist at all times. It's a little bit harder to control the moistness of soil, in my opinion, than it is for moss or perlite. By the way, for my soil, I'm just using my general aeroid mix, nothing fancy. It's quite a soft soil mix, so I don't think it will be too harsh for the baby roots. Now what is left to do for us is to control the humidity. There are a few things you could do. You could use just the regular Ziploc bags, stick in the whole thing like so. Put this whole thing into your grow shelf under a light. It will be warm, humid, and I think the seeds will grow just fine. You always have the possibility to put some cling film on top of your jar or pot or whatever you use. Lastly, if you have a greenhouse or maybe just a prop box, like a plastic prop box, you can just put them in there and it will be fine as well. By the way, here are the Brandtianum cuttings that I took, and they all look super well. We've got a temperature of around... We can't see. Why? We've got a temperature of around 24 degrees in here, and I think this will be pretty good for the seeds. The warmth in the prop box might also be a little bit different than on the outside, but I guess this is a pretty good range to have. So now we need to wait. I don't know exactly how long it will take for them to sprout, if they sprout at all. I have read everything from around like 3 days to a week, maybe even longer. I'm very curious to see if they all sprout. I'm curious to see if they took any like damage from the cold and the shipping. To spare you the waiting time, I will give you the results in 3, 2, 1, 0. So it is 6 days later and I already see something happening. It started around like the 3rd or 4th day. So let's check the bags. First we have the moss propagation. Just little fuzzy nubbies. How cute. I also see something in the pure perlite one. And last but not least, we also see something in the pure soil mix one. So I'm really happy about that. I will see you next time anything happens. It's week 3 and we have some exciting news on the seedlings. So in the moss we can already see that the fuzzy nubbies have grown quite a bit in the soil as well. We see more hair on the roots. The roots get longer, and we already see a few new leaves poking out, which is very exciting. We are at 4 weeks now and we have got some pretty significant differences in some of the media. It's very interesting to see the differences. So with our perlite, we have the biggest leaves so far. All 3 of them already have a leaf, and this one is pretty big too. The moss is pushing out 2 leaves. They are still very small, and the 3rd one only has a root so far. Our soil propagation has 1 tiny leaf right here. The other seeds have only roots so far. I think they are pushing right now, but still not out. We don't have any dead ones, nothing is molding, not even in the soil. Oh, my shelf just went out. Not even in the soil. So I'm pretty content with that. Let's check the seeds next week. We are 8 weeks in now and it's time to conclude our experiment, I think. Time to pot up the seedlings from the perlite and the moss into soil, since they're not really growing anymore and I think they need some nutrients. The medium that has won by far is the perlite. We have 3 out of 3 seeds that have germinated. They all look pretty healthy. 2 out of the 3 seedlings in the moss have germinated. They are getting a 2nd leaf. The ones in the perlite are as well. On the last place, unfortunately, the seeds that were in the soil directly So all of the 3 seeds have germinated, but only one of them has really grown to the size that the other seedlings have. And then 2 of the seedlings just stayed in like a in-between phase. You can see it here. You see a little leaf already forming, but it has been this way for like 3 weeks now and nothing else happened. I don't know why they really like stopped growing. It's still moist, it's still in a prop box. I haven't changed anything. What's interesting is these got a little bit more light maybe for a while, and the stalks on the leaves are way shorter than, for example, here in the moss. Oh wait, they are pretty long in here. In the perlite we have 2 roots growing on each seedling, which is pretty good. And what is interesting, in the moss we only have 1 long root, so I don't know what the difference for the plant is in this case, but it's pretty significant that there is some sort of difference. Oh, okay. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to take it out. We have a very small root, first of all, and it is branched out just a little bit on the top. Otherwise, it's very short and small. I don't think this seedling liked my soil for germination. I will use some terracotta pots that I have around and try to pot them in there. I think it should be fine for Anthurium. And since the roots aren't as long, I can just make a little hole in there and then pot them in. Making a little hole in here. Gently put the seedlings in. And what's important for me now is that I don't press the soil at all. I want it to be super loose, super airy, and have a lot of like air pockets in there because I feel like the roots will appreciate it. Water it very lightly. This is our finished perlite germination. The soil was already pretty moist, so I am not going to water it a lot. And I think I'm going to put in the last little seed as well. So maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, it's fine. This one only has a really tiny root, but it's showing a little growth point already, so it might be fine. This is the second pot with the moss germination. Well, I will keep those humid, warm and bright still, not too bright since I feel like they are quite sensitive to high light. I'll keep you updated in some of my next videos or the community tab. Thank you so much for watching my little series. I had a lot of fun documenting the process of the germination. I hope it was a little bit insightful. I know these things can be kind of scary. I think all of these methods work if you give it the right conditions and keep on top of it. If you're interested in more Anthurium videos, I have a very spicy Anthurium Verrucquianum video right here. Now I'll see you next time. Until then, enjoy your plants and goodbye!